G'day, this is Captainoob, and the much-awaited Fallout 4 New Vegas Anti-Materiel Rifle animated by WarDaddy has finally landed on the Nexus, available for public download. And let me tell you, this thing looks brilliant. It may not look lit right now, but once we get this thing modified, it looks so much better than the Creation Club crap that we got from Bethesda a few months ago. Anyways, without further ado, let's get into the attachments, and the advanced receiver does almost 400 damage, which is not bad for starters, and we'll go for a long-ported barrel just to help out with the recoil a little bit. There's not a lot that really goes on with that, but that's the best upgrade, so I guess we'll chuck that on. And for the scopes, we'll just go for a medium scope. This thing doesn't have a short scope. You've either got iron sights or no sights at all to use, and yeah, big iron ain't need no sight. I wonder who wrote that. You've also got a long scope if you want to have this for extremely long ranges. That also retains that little bit of tactical rail up the front if you feel like it. And you've also got a muzzle slot, which contains a standard muzzle, a suppressor, or a compensator. We'll go for the long-ass suppressor. That's probably the longest suppressor I've ever seen for a mod weapon, but there you go. And we'll go for a marksman stock at the back. You can't actually see that because the suppressor's so long, but that's what it looks like. I'll just quickly switch over to something else. Looks pretty good. Moving on to the magazines, we can extend our magazine by 3 by adding the 10-round magazine, which is okay, and we can chuck on a bipod. I don't think this does anything other than just a little bit of cosmetics, but I feel like it's a worthy addition. It definitely looks a lot better with that bipod. Next up, we've got the ammo types. Right now we've got FMJ, which is your standard. You can have armor piercing, which sacrifices a little bit of damage for superior armor penetration. High explosive doesn't work with suppressors, so we won't chuck that on. And incendiary rounds, which I guess would be the same as the incendiary legendary effect, adding little damage to the weapon itself. We'll just keep the standard full metal jackets on, and of course you've got a legendary variant. Along with this mod comes a Pasta La Vista rifle, which is basically an anti-material rifle covered in pasta. Haha, funny memes, WarDaddy is Italian. This one can't be modified, and it uses pasta ammo. You can find this in Vault 95. And I might as well give you a little bit of a quick comparison between the Creation Club variant and the WarDaddy variant of the Anti-Materiel Rifle. You'll notice right off the bat that this one is a lot smaller than this. They've actually made this thing a really big fucking meaty Anti-Materiel Rifle, and that's great. Because a lot of people complained about this thing. It's like no bigger than a hunting rifle, really. It's really quite small, but this one actually looks of adequate size, which is great. You'll also notice there's a whole lot more detail going on, although the bolt is on the wrong side, so unfortunately I can't turn that around on the weapon rack, but as you can tell, there's a little bit more going on. There's a carry handle, there's more greebling towards the start of where the barrel is, but you can tell that they sort of look the same. I do like the stock a lot more better on the WarDaddy variant as well, so definitely a well-improved upgrade over what this thing is, and there's no paywall behind this one, so that makes it infinitely times better. Okay, here we are outside of Immersive Gunners Plaza. Far outside of Immersive Gunners Plaza, yes, and that is for a very few specific reasons. Firstly, this thing has a very, very low rate of fire, as you can tell from the weapon card, only 2, and it has a little bit of trigger delay with the animations. You think it ought to shoot a little bit earlier, but the animation takes a little bit more time to cycle than what you'd actually see, which is kind of strange. We'll get to that in a second. And secondly, this thing's reload animation is very, very long, so we'll also be getting to that pretty soon. So before getting into our enemies, let's cam ourselves up. Here are our buffs. That's what we're going to be using throughout this first section here. Let's just, inject that shit. And we'll get started on these gunners. So, with even that 6.4 times damage increase multiplier, even with sneak attack criticals, we can't actually one-shot these guys with the AMR. If we get a headshot, we probably can, so a little bit of skill involved with using this weapon. It is a hit scan weapon, so make sure you do click on their heads when they feel your crosshairs. It does help when they stop and take dodgy cover, that's for sure, so make sure you do that. Once they're on the move, they're a little bit harder to hit because sometimes their movements are a little bit skittish and hard to predict, and sometimes they go behind trees, and you can't shoot through trees because there's no such thing as ballistics in this game, unless you use like the penetrator perk, but then anything can penetrate anything, so that's kind of weird. Anyways, here's that reload animation. You've probably seen that with WarDaddy's trailers and spoilers of this weapon, so nothing too new is shown off there. And also there's the rechambering animation, which is equally as cool. The animations that have gone into this are brilliant. I hope by the time it is in Fallout 4 New Vegas, they have given it a buff, because right now, it's not really doing it for me, unless they're rebalancing the whole game to damage threshold, which they might do. It's not really working right now in Fallout 4, but as long as we're hidden, which we will stay hidden because we're all the way on top of this parking thing, this car dealer, I'm not really sure what this is, but yeah, since we're up here, we won't be detected, so we can still keep on using this thing in a stealthy way, but until we get detected, then... Oh, hang on, they're all gathered up. Can I get past La Vista to get them all with explosive damage? No, I can't. Let me try that again. It's hard to hit. I'm not even sure if that explosions are rendering, but whatever. Probably not a good idea to give myself away with firing this thing off loud and proud, which we'll use in a little bit, but until we've destroyed all of these gunners up first, then we won't touch or push forward. You've got to die. And what else do we have? Unfortunately, VATS can't detect them all the way out here because I don't know why. But if it did, I'd definitely be using VATS right now just to get some guaranteed criticals on these guys, make sure they get the hits in. And also, like the hunting rifle, this thing has a little bit of a glitch when you switch. See? When you switch out of viewpoint, you'll force yourself into a reload even though you're rechambering bullets. So, I think that happens if you scope in, because right now I'm in first person, and then, yeah, I'll be coming out of that whilst reloading, so that's not good. I'm just going to put the weapon away and bring it out again to cancel that reload, because I've still got 6 bullets into this. So obviously these were modelled after the hunting rifle animations, considering they've got all the same glitches that happened with it. But this is like one of the slowest paced videos I've ever done, and that is because I just think the limitations of this weapon really limit your playstyle with this. You can't really go up in people's grills with it like you could with a Gauss Rifle, because you just can't get that damage off. Also, I got wall hacks on those gunners. I can see them hiding behind there. Okay, we'll kill this one last gun that's sitting down there, and then we'll push the fort. And you're down there. Can I get a shot on you? Yes, I can. Not dead yet. Probably could have gone for a headshot since you were standing out of cover. We'll just see you move again. Damn it. Missed that shot. Okay, it's time to go. And this time we'll be using an incendiary one with a medium scope. We'll be able to hear this thing unsuppressed now. And we won't worry about those ones. We'll actually get a flanking move on them. We'll make sure their skull is yellow before we take the targets, because that's how we get criticals in XCOM. I need to play that again. That game is so good. Anyways, now we've got a decent line of sight on them, I think. If we can get the bullet through there. No, we can't. We'll remain hidden for now, just so we can get those extra sneak attack bonuses. Okay, this is working quite well. The AI are a little bit confused on what exactly to do at this present moment. Looks like they've readjusted, though. I like how the AI isn't completely brain dead like they are in Fallout 76. I feel like there's more than there was before. Maybe I was missing these guys. Maybe they just scattered around the back of the Gunner's Plaza whilst I was shooting them. You're particularly hard to hit. I'm just going to take that critical on you. Oh, we have to reload first because I switched out of viewpoints. Oh, and then we're not even going to bother to take the shot. Probably not the modder's fault here. That's just Fallout 4 being a bitch. There we go. You can die. Weirdly, I didn't have to crank the bolt that time, which was bizarre, but we're almost in danger now. We are in danger. Let's bring out Pasta La Vista. WarDaddy, if you're watching, I hope you're happy. Okay, here's where the trigger delay comes in. I'm going to slam on mouse button 1 just to give you an idea of what the trigger delay is like. Okay, I'm reloading right now, but I'm going to move my mouse ever so close to my mic. Yeah, this thing feels a lot more unresponsive than you'd like it to be when you've got that. I think the animation runs a little bit too long, or at least you'd think it ought to end earlier than it does. But if we go ahead and just crit people in the face with this, we seem to have no problems with our damage outputs. Using the pasta ammo to our advantage, we can dispatch our foes quite easily. Fear my Italian power. I need a big drum mag, except it's like a pizza or something. That's your next job, WarDaddy. Okay, looks like just going up to people's faces and using this as like a battle rifle to just crit spam all the time is the way to go for this thing. I'm killing people a lot faster than I was hanging back and sniping before, so I think this is actually the way to go. Whether this was its intended purpose, I'm not sure. But even still, it's fun to use like this, I suppose. Just regain some criticals back. There's the reload in third person. Yes, there's rechambering and reloading animations in third person, like you'd expect this weapon to have, which is good. Good attention to detail. You're the Creation Club person. Too bad you don't have the Anti-Materiel Rifle and you've just got the classic Gauss Rifle from Fallout 3. Maybe not that classic, but still. Good shot. Okay, you get a critical. You know what? I'm not going to waste a critical on you. You're dead either way. Okay, that's just a laser sight shining from inside a building. No need to worry about that.
Don't move, soldier.
There we go. Overdrive doing some good work there, giving me a critical without using VATs. Very nice. We'll quickly wipe out the rest of them up here, and whatever's left on the ground we'll get from the rooftop. Let's just quickly breach our way in.
Nice.
Open up. Oh, you've got an AMR too. Time to die. My one's better because it's got pasture on it. Wonder how the splash damage does. Well, that might have been a hit on that person, but I got 134, which seems kind of weak. Okay, 127 and 302. 302 is what happens when we hit him, because Fallout 4 calculates its explosive damage kind of strange. You're a basic gunner, so you'll die in one shot. I think I actually headshotted him too. Overkill. That's fine. Alright, what have we got over here? This would be a good chance to test out the splash damage, so 129, 194. 129 seems to be what the splash damage is. I feel like it'd be a little bit better to change the explosion from the basic... Man, this VATS glitch is going to be the death of me, isn't it? But still, I think it'd be better if the explosion from this, rather than being a... oh my god, I did that again. No, put the weapon away, bring it out again. Just wall hack that person. There we go. Yes, make it the SentryBot bullet explosion or the SentryBot missile cluster explosion. It makes it look a lot more meatier and better. And you, I don't have a shot on you as well as I'd like to. So I'm just going to hit you in VATS. Probably won't get this next shot, will we? We actually did. I'm actually impressed. And we can finish off that next one there. Too bad we don't have the adrenaline perk to artificially boost the damage with our weapons. That'd be fun. I like the adrenaline perk. Jumping around to the last person. Let's see if we can't get a trick shot in this video, eh? So... oh my god, I couldn't pull that off in another million years. It wasn't quite a 360 no scope, it was like 480, wait, shit, go back, and then shoot him. Oh my god, we didn't even get that last kill. Thanks, Ricochet. Alrighty, I'm not going to test inside the Plaza. This thing is obviously not meant for that. Judging by the reload speed and the damage output and the fire rate of this weapon, using this in close quarters is a death sentence, unless you can keep yourself hidden. So using a stealth boy would be probably warranted in there, but then you won't be able to see the weapon. Okay, let's test this thing on a big baddie like Swan. Oh, Psycho has worn off. That's unfortunate. We'll take him on anyway, see how we do. I'd imagine going against one target would be a lot easier than going against many targets who are swarming everywhere, especially when we get a sneak attack multiplier of 6.4. If we can keep this up, he might be dead very, very quickly. One crit will do it, and then we'll probably just watch the other shots come in normally, because crits just slow you down. As always, I'm just gonna silently backpedal away, and we should be okay as long as he doesn't see us. If he creeps forward like that, he's only running about the same speed as I'm backpedaling now, which is useful. We'll just try to get him in the head, and obviously this thing is a sniper, so it'll get the sniper knockdowns, which is good for just stopping him in place. So we might be okay for this one run here. We might actually do this without taking any damage whatsoever, which is certainly good. So against big baddies like this, or one-on-one, you can actually do kind of well. It fails a little bit when it comes to the whole crowd control end of things. If there are a bunch of gunners running at you, you're better off using something else. But with versatility in this weapon, it doesn't seem all that much. So maybe if you increase our damage a bit, you will make it a little bit more viable against when there's heaps of mobs around to shoot at. I think maybe just buffing the damage so it can one-shot all basic mobs, or most basic mobs, will be a huge step in the right direction, so then it could do a little bit more on the crowd control side than just killing one big enemy and cheesing it with sneak attack criticals. Alright, we'll move on to something else. Okay, so it looks like Diablos is running away from the Wendigo, and why wouldn't he? The Wendigo is kind of tough, so what I'm going to do here is try to get some... Oh, we haven't got enough action points to get a good, nope. Let's just use Plaza La Vista. This thing's got iron sights, a little bit more efficient in VATS, yes. So what I'll do is get some gun food lined up. Doesn't really matter whether we hit these ghouls or not. Mainly, we're just trying to get some extra criticals on the bloodthirsty withered feral ghoul fellow there. So far, so good. And we got 3 out of 4, oh, we're getting them all so far, that's alright. And then every shot on the Wendigo now is going to be a critical. So Plaza La Vista, see how he does. Okay, we are detected now, so there's no sneak attack criticals going into it. But even still, that's a fairly decent amount of damage. Alright, let's switch back to this one. Get a cheeky little no-scope on his knee there. Fortunately, you can't actually cripple his legs at all. They just make the fight too easy, wow, wouldn't it? Go for another critical, why not? And now he's been knocked down. We'll use this time to quickly get away, and if we can slip back into caution, that would be huge, but I don't think that'll happen. We might, actually. Alright, we are back into caution. That's good news. Try to get a shot on his twitching face there. We did. And we got a nice little shot on him whilst he was moving in, which is kind of cool. Perks of having a hit scan weapon, yes, but most weapons in this game are hit scan. Very few of them aren't, but since he's knocked down, we could easily get all of those sneak attack crits on him with that, and now we have to reload. Let's just finish him off with the incendiary one. I don't think I've used this all that much, so for it to get the killing blow against the Wendigo would be a nice improvement to the amount of times I've used this. So I think I'm going to leave things off here for the Anti-Materiel Rifle. Despite this thing's performance issues, I feel like it needs a little bit more damage to be viable against basic day-to-day mobbing. This thing has been really, really fun to use. The quality of this weapon is second to none. The presentation of it, the textures, meshes, and the animations have been very, very good. WarDaddy always does great stuff, and whoever's designing the 3D models and textures of these, they've done it again. All of the Fallout 4 New Vegas weapons have absolutely been mind-blowing so far, and it's a really good sign that Fallout 4 New Vegas mod is going to be one of the best mods of all time. Although you always could play New Vegas instead of playing Fallout 4 New Vegas. Nonetheless, we can actually have the proper winter in New Vegas. How cool would that be? She'd probably wear like a Chinese style suit all the time to prevent herself from being sunburnt. But I digress. If you'd like to see this thing in your game, and I do highly suggest you pick this up, this is great. Yeah, check out the description. As far as I know, it's only on the PC as of now, but hopefully pending further release on consoles, Xbox One users can have this thing as well. So, that's about it from me. Thank you for watching, guys.